So they went right on ahead and did it, family. They went right on ahead and did something I knew that they was initially going to do when I first put out the video on our brother Marcellus Williams, who was unjustly on death row out there in Missouri. They went right on ahead and executed our brother. I was trying to be a little bit optimistic about the situation, but I know there ain't really no true justice for foundational Black Americans. This damn no good governor out there in Missouri by the name of Mike Parson, who ain't nothing more than a racist white supremacist, if you ask me. He said, I know we ain't got no DNA evidence, no this, that, or the other, but I'm white and I say so, and I say that this Negro got to go. And it was to my understanding that our brother Marcellus didn't even have a jury of his peers when he was first tried for this in the 90s. He had only one black jury on his whole jury panel. So, it was a janky trial to begin with. And the girl Gail, who was the victim, her family didn't even want this execution to be moved forward with, not even her spouse. And he said, you know what, I might not say so, and this Negro got to go. And we got to be very careful nowadays, family, because we see an influx of prominent foundational Black Americans being destroyed in the eyes of the public, such as Diddy and Mayor Eric Adams. Now, I ain't saying if they're guilty or not, but I'm just saying that when they were going along to get along, not rocking the boat, everything was cool. See, everything was cool with Diddy when he was putting out hits and going along with the programming. But the moment he tried to sue that big wig liquor company for racism, that's when the bulk of his problems began. And toward the end, Diddy was having a black awakening of the mind where he was starting to be about black people. And they said, oh, no, we got to bring this Negro down. Mayor Eric Adams was cool when he was pushing that mass immigration thing and tucking his tail. But the moment he seen that it was affecting foundational Black Americans and he started to speak out against immigration, that's where they said, oh no, this Negro got to go. See, the dominant white society give you money to be about the needs and interests of them. But when you be about the interests and the needs of your people, that's where the problem lies. And that's where they work to try to bring you down. See, the system of racism, white supremacy knows that the really only true threat that it has to it is codified foundational Black Americans. See, codified and on code foundational Black Americans, we have the ability to top over the system of racism, white supremacy, make it collapse altogether. And they know this because we're the only really true group that have fought the system of racism, white supremacy, tooth and nails. Because we see racism, white supremacy, injustices on any front, even if it's not being done to us as a direct threat to us. See, other groups of people, long as the injustice ain't being done to them, they'll turn a blind eye to it. But foundational Black Americans, we got a different will and spirit in us. Even if the injustices and oppression ain't being done to us, we know that it could blow back onto us and it can eventually uh, get onto us and our family. So we want to knock it down altogether. And that's what they don't want to happen, us to topple over the system of racism, white supremacy. They truly don't want that to happen. And it ain't by coincidence that Trump is able to operate with impunity with having all these indictments on him because he got the complexion for the protection. When Diddy had the money to put up $50 million bail, and they wouldn't even let him put up that, because Diddy ain't got the complexion for the protection. And the system of racism, white supremacy looks after and takes care of its own. This is why Trump is able to be free, if you ask me. But back to our brother Marcellus Williams, we should have had something implemented and in place, where we got money and set aside funds for times like this when our brothers and sisters need us, that are being unjustly having injustices and oppression done to them, such as in the case of our brother Marcellus Williams. We should have had FBA lawyers on retainer that'll work tooth and nail to fight and got our brother off. Truth be told, we need foundational Black Americans in every facet of our existence, every area of our existence that we need a foundational Black American in, service, production, whatever industry we could think of. We need a foundational Black American in there that's really going to be about the interests and the needs of our people, and not take no shortcuts, and are not funded by the dominant white society. See, we got to fund these people. We need Black teachers, lawyers, doctors, governors, mayors, even police, all of which are working to uplift and be about the interests and the needs of our people and our people, solely, and we got to fund them to get them to do this. It can't be done by nobody else. It can't be done by no government organization, no other entity but foundational Black Americans. Truth be told, we need something like a foundational Black American Council, like a Jewish Defense League, how they got or something like that, some kind of foundational Black American, type of council, commission, we could call it foundational Black American commission. Whenever somebody gets out here and speaks something negatively up against foundational Black Americans, they hop out there in the forefront with a shield to protect us, insulate us from the blow of that. And then we get out here like the Jewish Defense League does, the JDL. We get out here and make these people apologize for attacking our group. And if they don't apologize, we make sure we bleed the bank on them to where though we draining them of their resources. We got so much money, ourselves from just putting set asides together and, putting our money together that we're able to bleed people, and dry them, make them go dry their resources to where though they crawling back to us, you know, begging for us to get back into our good graces. And depending on if we want to let them back into our good graces, we let them back into our good graces. If we don't, we just destroy them in the eyes of the public, the same way that the JDL does. We got to start controlling every facet of our existence as foundational Black Americans. And with that being said, I want to talk about the key to foundational Black American empowerment. And one of our biggest superpowers as foundational Black Americans is unity and supporting of each other. See, we got to get out there and start really connecting with like-minded foundational Black Americans in our community, on the ground level, putting together resources, bouncing ideas off of one another, seeing what works and what don't work, and just, taking care and looking after our own people. We shouldn't have to go outside of the community to find what we need. We should be able to find anything we need for our day-to-day existence. We should be able to find that with inside the foundational Black American community. We got to start doing business with one another, lifting each other up, and supporting one another. Because our biggest weapon against all of this that we catching right now, the bullseye being on our back, is complete codification and unity of our group. Surrounding ourselves with like-minded people. Protecting our men, women, and children. Just protecting us. Period. As foundational Black Americans. Being complete codification with one another, and that's how we can begin to counteract some of this madness that we see day to day going on with our people. But, because that was just nonsense what they did to our brother Marcellus. He should have been insulated, and we should have enough resources and set asides put together where we can make a guy such as this Mike Parson who pushed for that execution to happen. We should have enough power as a group where we can make him step down and, step down from being the governor. And we can, shame him in the eyes of the public, and speak to his character, start to destroy his character if we want to in the eyes of the public, have people, um, um, just looking into him and investigating him. And, the same way they try to do with our people when our people do something that, they don't like of the dominant white society, they go to full extent to tear that person down. We should have them same resources at our disposal when we need them to tear that person down and make them resign if we want to. We had the ability to make and break people at the drop of a dime. Just my thoughts on the matter. But our superpower is complete unity and supporting of one another, and we can be able to combat some of that's counteracted, in my opinion. Peace.